Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the Z800 is back in the garage and it's here for another set of indicators. So I've changed the indicators on this bike twice already. I'll put a link at the top of the screen so you can see me taking the original indicators off and putting some aftermarket ones on. The original ones I put on were like a arrow type of indicator, which were okay. They worked fine, but they were a little bit dull. So in bright sunshine, you couldn't see them particularly well. Then we put a second set of indicators on, which I'll show you. So we put this set of indicators on, and as you can see, there's tape already on them. And they've only been on probably about a month or two, if that. So these came off eBay, I think. Now the owner of this bike is notoriously tight and won't spend a lot of money. So he bought these off eBay, and the first set we had, some of the bulbs weren't working, or some of the LEDs weren't working. I'll just put this on. Yeah, so they kind of flash quite nicely, but when we tried the first set, some of the LED bulbs weren't working. Also, I think there's a design fault in them, and I'll take them off and I'll show you. Okay, so these are the indicators I just removed. So this is the second set of indicators. This is now the third set of indicators. So rear and front. So this was the one that was taped up. And I'll try and show you what the problem was. I didn't record the removal of the indicators because that's on the original video. Okay. So I've done a drawing of the indicator. So if you think of this as being the indicator and there's your LEDs. This is the threaded bolt that goes through into the indicator, and of course your nut is on the end. And I think the biggest problem was when you went through the bodywork of the bike and you've done the nut up, what was happening, this bolt was just pulling out. I think what you really needed was some sort of collar on the threaded bolt, which would then butt up against the bodywork. And I believe the thread just doesn't go in far enough. I did glue them in, but it still didn't help. Now I think the new ones do have, I can feel on the rubber of the indicator that I can feel what seems to be a collar just like this. So it's stopping pulling the bolt out of the indicator itself. Okay, so we've got these old indicators off. You can see how brittle they are. Now these are the second set of indicators that I fitted. So this is the new one and this is the old one. And you can see there's a lot of difference between the LEDs. These look much better built. It's got an E mark on it, whereas this has got some sort of marking on it, but I don't know what it is. Let's pull one of these apart. So the glass looks better. As I've taken that off now, it's almost hanging out. Okay, now not sure if that's how they're supposed to look, but that looks quite cheap and cheerful. There's not a lot going on there. Although where they worked quite well. So it's definitely a case of
you do get what you pay for. Like, they do look incredibly similar, but they're not quite the same. Okay, so I just got to take all the connectors off these and resolder them to the new ones. A little bit of advice as well before you start soldering them together. Test them first, otherwise you're wasting your time. I did test those. Okay, just make sure it all lights up. Obviously they're not flashing because there's no regulator on it, I guess. Now, when I done the indicators on this bike originally, I did have to change the indicator regulator, and again there's another video on that, which again I'll put at the top of the screen. Yeah, all good. Okay, so there we go. 4 all ready to put back on. When you're doing this as well, these spacers kind of make it a little bit easier. I didn't have these when I put the original ones on, so they help to take up any sort of gaps in the bodywork. There we go, all back together. Again, I didn't show the video of me putting it back together because that's in the original video. So the moral of the story, just be careful where you buy your cheap Chinese crap from. Now, I'm sure there's lots of good eBayers out there, but these indicators all looked exactly the same, but the ones we got from the bike shop are definitely a better quality. So if you like that video, hit like and subscribe to the channel.